Beloved, hear this with every fiber of your being. You are standing on the edge of a divine turning point. Heaven has issued a decree concerning your life, and nothing in hell, nothing in your past, nothing in your emotions, and nothing in your circumstances has the authority to override it. The season you've been in is not the season you're going to stay in. You have cried long enough. You have fought long enough. You have survived long enough. Now the winds of God are shifting in your direction, and they are carrying with them the sound of breakthrough, the sound of renewal, and the sound of divine elevation. There is a prophetic acceleration falling upon you. What you thought would take years, God is positioning to happen in moments. What you thought you lost, God is preparing to restore in greater measure. What was painful, God is transforming into purpose. The very thing the enemy used to push you down is becoming the platform God will raise you up on. Your story is being rewritten by the hand of the Almighty. Your pain is not wasted. It is being converted into spiritual currency, into wisdom, into strength, into strategy, into spiritual authority. You are standing at a divine turning point, a moment where everything in your life begins to realign with heavenly purpose in ways you may not fully understand yet. There is a shift happening in the unseen realm, a spiritual recalibration moving in your favor, setting the stage for breakthroughs that have been delayed, resisted, or hidden behind seasons of confusion. This turning point is not accidental. It is intentional, orchestrated, and divinely timed. You are not here by coincidence, but by calling. And every experience leading to this moment has been preparing you to recognize the magnitude of what is about to unfold. This turning point is heaven's answer to prayers you prayed long ago, prayers you may have forgotten, whispered in tears, or released during moments of deep frustration. It is God's response to the silent groans of your spirit, the unspoken desires you carried, and the weight you tried to navigate in your own strength. Now, the atmosphere around your life is shifting, bringing clarity where there was uncertainty and direction where there was hesitation. You are stepping into a divine pivot where old patterns lose their power and new pathways open before you. In this moment, the spiritual alignment happening around you is uprooting everything that once hindered your progress. Battles that drained you are losing their grip, and cycles that kept you stuck are breaking. This turning point is dismantling internal limitations, dissolving fear-based thinking, and releasing you from emotional burdens that once clouded your vision. You may not see all the changes yet, but the transformation has already begun deep within your spirit. This turning point invites you to rise into a greater version of yourself, stronger, wiser, and more spiritually attuned. It calls you to step out of the shadows of your past and into the light of your destiny. You are being guided away from environments that diminished your value and towards spaces that recognize your calling. The shift you feel is pulling you into alignment with your purpose, and the resistance you've endured is evidence that you are crossing into a new realm of influence. The turning point you stand in is not passive. It demands your awareness, your readiness, and your willingness to grow. It urges you to release what no longer serves your journey, to let go of the versions of yourself shaped by pain or survival. You are being invited to embrace a mindset that aligns with victory, not defeat. Every challenge you have faced is now becoming part of the foundation that strengthens you for the elevation ahead. You are standing at a divine turning point where heaven is positioning people, opportunities, and resources to meet you in the very place you once experienced lack. Doors that were shut are being prepared to open, and pathways that seemed blocked are being cleared. This is a sacred moment where what once seemed impossible is beginning to take shape. You are walking into days designed to reveal God's intentionality in ways that will leave you humbled and amazed. This turning point is where your spiritual sensitivity increases, where you begin to recognize the signs of God's movement more clearly. You start to discern doors that are meant for you and distractions meant to delay you. Your intuition strengthens, your inner voice becomes clearer, and your steps become more purposeful. You are being pulled into a season where your alignment with God's will become sharper than ever before. As you stand in this moment, heaven is awakening dormant gifts within you, gifts buried under disappointments, overlooked by others, or overshadowed by seasons of struggle. These gifts are being stirred, activated, and amplified. You are entering a phase where your potential becomes visible not just to you, but to those assigned to your destiny. This turning point is awakening the leader, the warrior, the visionary, the intercessor, and the overcomer within you. You are standing at a divine turning point where the weight of the past begins to lift from your shoulders. The heaviness that once clouded your spirit is being replaced with a renewed sense of hope, purpose, and expectation. You begin to feel the winds of change before you see the manifestation, sensing that something is shifting, something is coming, something is aligning. You are no longer in the season of merely surviving. You are stepping into the season of rising. In this turning point, God is preparing to reveal why the battles were so intense, why the delays were so long, and why the journey required such endurance. What didn't make sense before will soon unfold with clarity and purpose. You are being ushered into a moment where everything changes, where the divine plan becomes undeniable, and where your life begins to reflect the promise spoken over you. Your pain is becoming the platform for your promotion, even though it may not feel like it right now. Every tear you cried, every moment you questioned your strength, every season where you felt overlooked or unheard has been gathered, counted, and woven into a divine strategy that is unfolding for your elevation. Nothing you lived through was wasted. What seemed like breaking was actually building. What felt like loss was actually preparation. What looked like the end was the beginning of something far greater than you imagined. There were moments where the weight of your pain made you wonder if you were strong enough to keep going. Yet, even in those moments, something inside you refused to quit. That resilience, that deep internal fire that kept burning even when you were exhausted, was being shaped by God into a force that would one day carry you into rooms you never thought you belonged in. The pain that pushed you to your knees is the same pain that strengthened your spiritual muscles, your discernment, and your ability to stand firm when others would have collapsed. As you walked through seasons of hardship, you developed a level of insight and compassion that cannot be taught through comfort. Those who rise without pain often rise without depth. But your journey has given you depth, wisdom, and authority. People will hear your voice not because it sounds confident, but because it carries the weight of truth you learned in the midst of your battles. Your struggles have carved out space within you where greatness can now take root and grow. Your pain has also sharpened your vision. You see things differently now. You discern motives, opportunities, and dangers with greater clarity. The storms you survived taught you how to read spiritual weather, how to sense shifting seasons, how to recognize when something is sent to grow you or distract you. What once confused you now teaches you. What once wounded you now equips you. This internal sharpening is part of your promotion, preparing you to handle what is coming next with maturity and authority. What you went through also purified your motives. Pain has a way of stripping away pride, ego, and superficial desires. It forces you to confront what truly matters and what you genuinely want. Through those difficult seasons, your heart was refined, your intentions were tested, and your priorities were realigned. This purification is what makes your promotion prophetic. It's not based on ambition, but alignment, not on chasing success, but on fulfilling purpose. The pain you survived transformed you into someone more resilient, more grounded, and more spiritually aware. It stretched you beyond your comfort zone and developed strength you didn't know you possessed. It made you adaptable, creative, and courageous in ways you couldn't have become through ease. Now, the qualities forged in suffering are becoming the foundation of your advancement. Your endurance is now becoming influence. Your pain also unlocked parts of you that would have remained dormant without pressure. Hidden gifts, hidden talents, hidden capacities were revealed when life squeezed you. There were abilities you didn't know you had until circumstances demanded them. There were strengths you didn't know you carried until struggle activated them. Now those gifts are maturing, expanding, and positioning you for opportunities that match who you've become. Through pain, you learned perseverance. You learned patience. You learned faith that goes beyond feelings. You learned to lean on God in ways that developed a deeper intimacy and reliance on His voice. That spiritual maturity is part of your promotion because elevation requires stability. You are not being lifted without roots. Your roots were grown through every trial, and now they are strong enough to support the weight of what God is placing on your life. Your pain is now becoming your testimony, a testimony that will inspire, strengthen, and guide others. The things you hid, the things you endured in silence, the battles no one knew about are becoming stories of triumph that carry power. People will be drawn to you because they will sense that their struggles will not intimidate someone who has survived what you've survived. Your promotion is not just personal, it will be impactful. And now, as you stand on the edge of a new season, everything you once thought disqualified you is becoming the very reason you will excel. The pain that once felt like your greatest weakness is emerging as your greatest strength. What was meant to break you has built you. What was meant to silence you has awakened you. What was meant to cripple you is now propelling you into a level of purpose, authority, and influence you were always destined to walk in. God has been working behind the scenes in ways you couldn't see, in moments when it felt like nothing was moving, nothing was changing, and nothing was shifting in your favor. Even in the silence, there was movement. Even in the stillness, there was strategy. While you were questioning what was happening, heaven was orchestrating a plan so precise that no detail was overlooked. Every delay, every closed door, every disappointment was woven into a divine timeline that was aligning you with something far greater than you imagined. There were times you felt forgotten, like your prayers were hitting the ceiling or your voice was lost in the noise of life. Yet God was not ignoring you. He was positioning you. Sometimes He hides His hand so you can grow, so you can strengthen your faith, so you can learn to trust Him beyond what your eyes can see. In those seasons, He was preparing what you would eventually step into, shaping the environment, the opportunities, and even the people who would walk with you into your next season. While you were battling thoughts of doubt and discouragement, God was rearranging things in your favor without your awareness. He was removing people who would have sabotaged your future. He was shutting doors that would have derailed your purpose. He was redirecting you from paths that looked good, but were not aligned with your destiny. His hidden work was not punishment. It was protection. You were not being delayed. You were being preserved for the right moment. Behind the scenes, God was stirring the hearts of people who would one day speak your name in rooms you've never entered. He was preparing divine connections, unexpected alliances, and supernatural resources that will come into your life at the appointed time. The conversations you don't hear, the opportunities you haven't seen, and the favors you didn't ask for are already in motion. Nothing is random. Everything is intentional. God has been engineering situations that will make sense only in hindsight. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that collapsed, they were all part of His hidden design to reroute you to something better. What felt like loss then will look like strategy later. What felt like rejection will reveal itself as redirection. What felt like silence will be remembered as setup. As you walked through seasons of uncertainty, God was strengthening your character. He was developing patience, endurance, discernment, and humility within you. These qualities grow best in hidden seasons, away from the applause, away from recognition, away from visibility. He prepared you privately so you would be able to handle what he is about to reveal publicly. Elevation without preparation becomes a burden, but you have been prepared in the shadows for the spotlight. Behind the scenes, God has been aligning timing with purpose. There are blessings that require maturity, opportunities that require readiness, and breakthroughs that require correct positioning. You may have wanted things earlier, but God waited until the moment when it would bless you, not break you. His timing has always been perfect, even when it felt painfully slow. While you were wrestling with questions, God was releasing answers in ways you didn't yet understand. He was refining your vision, clarifying your desires, and helping you distinguish what was temporary from what was essential. The unknowns you faced were shaping you into someone who walks by faith, not fear. You were being stretched so that when the blessing comes, you will have the capacity to sustain it. God has been working through people you've never met, opening doors you've never knocked on, and preparing opportunities that will appear suddenly but have been in development for a long time. What will look like an overnight breakthrough will actually be the manifestation of years of unseen divine activity. Nothing you are about to step into is accidental. All of it has been carefully crafted behind the scenes. And even now, God continues to align your path with precision. You may not see the full picture yet, but every thread is being woven into a masterpiece that will reveal his faithfulness in a way that leaves you speechless. You are walking into a season where the hidden work of God will become visible, undeniable, and overwhelmingly clear as the pieces come together in perfect harmony. Before the 30 days of this month conclude, a supernatural shift is already being set in motion around your life, even if you cannot fully perceive it yet. There is a divine countdown happening in the spirit, a prophetic alignment unfolding with precision, and heaven is preparing to release what has been held back until the appointed time. This is not an ordinary transition. It is a God-ordained acceleration where long-standing battles begin to lose their power and long-awaited breakthroughs begin to break forth with unexpected speed. You are stepping into days where what took years to build will come together in moments because divine timing is overtaking natural timing. This shift is not something you begged for. It is something assigned to you. There are blessings that have been maturing in the spiritual realm. Blessings that needed you to grow, heal, and elevate in order to carry them without being crushed by them. Now that growth has taken root within you, heaven is releasing what was once withheld. The spiritual weight you developed through endurance is now attracting the manifestation of promises that were paused but never denied. Every delay you survived is becoming a gateway to rapid release. As this shift unfolds, the heaviness you carried is beginning to lift layer by layer. The invisible struggles, the internal wars, and the emotional exhaustion are losing their authority over your life. You may not feel the full breakthrough yet, but you can sense something changing, something loosening, something rearranging. That is the evidence of divine intervention preparing to surface. This shift is subtle at first, like the first breeze before the storm of blessing arrives, but soon it will become undeniable. Before 30 November, you are entering a window of spiritual elevation where your perspective sharpens and your discernment deepens. Suddenly, things that once confused you will become clear. Situations that seemed stagnant will start moving. Doors that were closed will begin to unlock. Opportunities you didn't chase will start appearing. You will notice people being repositioned around you, some pulled closer, others drifting away, as God aligns you with individuals who match your next level. This shift carries restoration with it. Areas of your life that were broken, damaged, or neglected are being mended by the hand of God. The wounds you thought you would always carry are being healed in ways that feel sudden, but are the result of long-term spiritual work happening in secret. Relationships may be repaired, peace may return, and clarity may rise where confusion once ruled. God is restoring what was lost, but also restoring who you were before life drained you. The spiritual shift happening before the end of this month also includes divine provision. Resources you couldn't access before will begin to flow. Ideas that once felt impossible will suddenly gain momentum. God is assigning provision to your purpose. Finances, connections, direction, opportunities, strength, and supernatural favor. This is not the result of luck or chance. It is the manifestation of a promise that has reached its appointed hour. As the shift intensifies, you will begin to feel a deeper sense of alignment with your purpose. You'll notice passions returning, dreams resurfacing, and courage rising within you. The things you once feared will lose their grip. The things you once doubted will begin to feel attainable. It will be as if something inside you wakes up, reminding you of who you truly are and what you are truly capable of. This inner awakening is part of the preparation for prophetic promotion. This shift will also bring closure to what no longer serves your destiny. Certain cycles will end abruptly. Certain distractions will fall away. Certain attachments will lose their emotional hold on you. When God elevates you, He separates you from anything that could contaminate the next season. You may feel a sense of release, a sense of detachment, or even a sense of peace where there was once turmoil. That is heaven closing chapters you no longer belong in. Before 30 November, divine connections will begin to form, people who carry answers to your prayers, people who hold keys to your next level, people who can see what God has placed inside you will appear. These connections will not be forced. They will be orchestrated. You will know them by the peace they bring, the clarity they offer, and the way they propel your purpose forward. God is positioning individuals who will walk with you into the season of elevation. And in this supernatural shift, your life will begin to reflect the evidence of God's hand in ways that cannot be denied. The changes may begin quietly, but they will unfold powerfully. What once felt distant will come near. What once felt impossible will take shape. What once felt delayed will accelerate. You are standing on the threshold of a divine shift that will reposition you, restore you, and reveal what God has been preparing for you all along. You must take bold action to step into what is coming, because elevation does not meet hesitation. It meets movement. There is a stirring within you right now that is calling you to rise above the limitations, excuses, and fears that once kept you in cycles of delay. Something inside you knows that this is not the time to shrink back or question your worthiness. This is the moment where you must align your actions with the magnitude of what God is preparing to release in your life. Every step you take in faith becomes a signal to heaven that you are ready for the next level. There is a new standard being required from you, a higher level of discipline, focus, and intentionality. You cannot carry old habits into a new season and expect different results. The doors being prepared for you are weighty, and you must be strong enough to walk through them. This means adjusting your mindset, guarding your environment, and protecting your spirit from anything that could weaken your momentum. The time has come to act like the person you are becoming, not the person you once were. Taking bold action means being willing to release what feels familiar but no longer fruitful. Comfort zones cannot carry calling. You are being asked to let go of patterns, relationships, and distractions that drain your energy and steal your clarity. When God calls you higher, He also requires you to travel lighter. Every decision you make in this season must be guided by purpose, not pressure. You are stepping into alignment with what God has already spoken over your life. You must also take action by speaking differently. Your words carry creative power, and this is a season where you cannot afford to declare defeat while asking God for victory. Your declarations must match your destiny. Speak life, Speak progress, speak breakthrough, speak strength, speak abundance. The atmosphere around you responds to your language, so choose words that support the elevation God is releasing. Bold action requires you to prepare in faith for what you have not yet seen. Preparation is a prophetic act. When you prepare, you are telling heaven, I believe what you promised. If you desire new opportunities, get ready for them. If you are expecting growth, create space for it. If you are believing for divine connections, position yourself where they can find you. Preparation transforms expectation into manifestation. This is also a time to move without waiting for perfect conditions. If you wait until everything is aligned, you will miss the moment. Action creates momentum, and momentum breaks barriers. Do what you can with what you have. Take the first step, even if it's small. Heaven responds to movement. God multiplies effort. Progress is birthed through obedience, not perfection. You don't need all the answers. You just need to move. Taking bold action also means trusting what God placed inside you. There is something unique, powerful, and irreplaceable about your gift. Stop downplaying your value or second guessing your potential. You were created with purpose and equipped with everything you need to fulfill it. Confidence is not arrogance. It is agreement with what God says about you. Stand in that agreement and move boldly. Surround yourself with people who speak to your future, not your fears. Your environment influences your elevation. Stay close to those who challenge you, uplift you, and push you toward growth. Distance yourself from anything that keeps you spiritually or mentally stagnant. The people around you are either fueling your destiny or draining it. Choose wisely, because elevation requires discernment. Bold action demands consistency. You cannot step into your next level with on and off command